In 2002, in commemoration of the 60th anniversary of Japanese internment, Sierra Community College joined with the community in a year-long art and educational project called Standing Guard. Sierra College Press was formed to publish the book, Standing Guard, Telling Our Stories. It was the first publication of Sierra College Press.
In Placer County, almost 2,000 Japanese Americans were relocated and incarcerated. Sierra College, then called Placer Junior College, was hit particularly hard by internment. In 1941, when World War II began, a substantial percentage of the college student body was of Japanese ancestry. A few months later, in 1942, after evacuation and internment was ordered, the total number of Japanese American students dropped to 0. A number of these college students and members of their families would then serve with great distinction in the 442nd Regimental Combat Team.
The 442 Regimental Combat Team was the most decorated unit for its size and length of service in American military history.
I was interested in documentary photography. I wrote in a little bitty idea book, do a document of the Japanese Americans. And then that idea just stayed in that little book until the right people came along 25 years later. And I thought, this is going to be the 60th anniversary. I really need to act on this. I think that for whatever reason, I have always been as a person who identified with people who weren't treated well or who were marginalized.
I grew up in segregated schools until college. I began teaching in Texas the same year the Civil Rights Act was signed in 1964. Then I came to California and Sierra College, where I learned of the internment for the first time. I think my upbringing and history made me want to do something to tell this story.
I was dean of the Liberal Arts Division, and these two instructors came to see me, Deb Sutphin, Lynn Medeiros, and they had this idea that they wanted to do a story about the Japanese American internment, and wanted to do it through a history class, kind of an independent study history class. And they had students who were interested, and they wanted to give it a try. I said, let's do it, let's give it a try. I'm a Japanese American who was born in Manzanar, which is one of the relocation camps, one of the 10 in the United States. Many Japanese Americans, older generation, they never talked about it a whole lot. My parents lived in Los Angeles, so a lot of the Los Angeles people were herded into Santa Anita Racetrack as an assembly center, and from there sent mostly to Manzanar.
Each family, upon arrival at a relocation center, was assigned to a single-room compartment, about 20 by 25 feet.
I remember my mom saying that when they actually walked into the stables, because that's where they had to stay, you could still smell the horses. The horses were in there, and you could still see hay on the floor.
I'm Deb Sutphin, and this is Lynn Medeiros. We're going to tag team, which we often do since we've been working together now for about a year.
Most of them, many of them were farmers here. They had been here to school. Their kids had been to school. They were just normal people. And they all of a sudden, when they were interned, they became enemy aliens. And it was really important, I think, for our students to hear that, for my parents to hear that.
I knew that, having lived in Placer County for not my whole life, but many years, and also knowing how many of the Japanese Americans in LA were where I grew up, and my parents, they never talked about it much at all. I figured they weren't going to talk about it, and they'd be lucky to get 10 people.
Lynn and I were out beating the streets, literally, trying to find people to interview.
We'd go anywhere. We went to the Japanese American Citizen League every meeting. We'd go to churches, and we always carried a clipboard. We each had a clipboard, remember? And we went to the meetings, and we'd be like, we're going to pass around the clipboard. We'd do our standing guard spiel about, you know, the importance of these oral histories in our students and the need for them. And we'd pass around a clipboard and ask people to sign up, and they always came back with not one name on them.
You're telling kids that are, a lot of them straight out of high school, when you do these interviews, you need to wear really pretty nice clothes and be on time and don't use bad language and be respectful, because you're representing us, the class, but you're also representing the college. So go out there and make yourself proud and make us proud.
And boy, did they.
My name is Jessica Robertson, and I started at Sierra College in the spring of 1997, and I graduated in the spring of 2001. Before taking the class, I didn't know anything about internment, anything about World War II either. It's really stuck with me from learning in firsthand what people went through instead of just reading out of a history book. I was honored to be asked to, I said, yes, I want to learn about this. I learned quite a bit from taking the class.
It became teaching at this very kind of intimate level, because first we taught students, and then students went out, and our narrators, the Japanese American community, taught our students. And then it didn't end there. Students came back into the class and taught the other students. And so it became this really an educational experience at a level that you probably rarely get in a 16-week course. So, you know, it was quite amazing. We still are shocked by it.
I know.
We talked about why standing guard and the importance of standing guard over the constitutional, you know, protections that are guaranteed to all of us. And it doesn't just happen to Japanese Americans during internment or Japanese during internment. It happens all the time, and that we have lots and lots and lots of marginalized groups. Standing guard is, it is a, like, I don't know, I think you said it best once, it is a razor-sharp lesson in the need to protect the constitutional rights of all American citizens at all times. And Standing Guard did that. Standing Guard was it was a melding of college and community. You know, what Standing Guard did is allow us to place a historical event into a personal story.
I found the Standing Guard project to be one of the most meaningful interdisciplinary collaborations between the college and the community through all my years teaching at Sierra. It was and continues to be rich with history, stories, and connection. It was clearly important for all of us to really look at what had happened, open our hearts, and share our tears. My deep thanks to Rebecca and Lynn and others for their vision and involving so many of us.
I think part of it was a way to serve the community. I found what was exciting about it at the time was that it was Placer County. A lot of times these things are real, and it is. It's a national mark, okay, on the U.S. But you don't often get a chance to come into the, you know, the center of the microcosm. And we had a way of addressing it with the people it had in a small rural community in California, and it was just all the things that happened, like. Rebecca was saying, you know, the way the community came to support the farms, you know, it needed to be honored. Nobody knew about it. People were surprised because, you know, and I was surprised to learn that. But then again, I'd never thought about it. So I think for me, it was this awakening of, you know, all things are local. I mean, when you come down to it. And I just feel it was great to be able to do this for the folks of Placer County, both population that was affected, the Japanese, and for the other folks in the county that were here at this time who have, you know, just like the Japanese got older and people didn't know about what had happened to them, a lot of people didn't realize that this had happened in their community. To them, it happened somewhere else, if they knew about the Japanese internment at all.
We think it's very, very special association, especially because it's not independent as a press with simply the mechanisms of paper and ink and editing and this and that, but it's an association with students, with faculty, and most importantly, with the community as well. So that in and of itself, I think, where a press, embeds itself in the community in which it serves, I think is unique to start with. It was also an opportunity for us to celebrate the geography of where we live. We decided to name it Sierra College Press, but with relation to the Sierra Nevada, the bioregion and the ecosystem in which we live. And so while Standing Guard began as a celebration, a recognition, of a constitutional injustice that had occurred to citizens within our own college community, it could now expand to natural history and history of people, places, the land, the landscape, the biological diversity of the Sierra Nevada itself.
The Sierra Nevada is a microcosm of society. I mean, a lot of the issues that are related throughout the nation today, really throughout the world, environmental protection, the search for justice, racial reckoning, all of those happened in the Sierra Nevada and the foothills. Building upon the extraordinary accomplishment of Standing Guard and the publication of Standing Guard Telling Our Stories, which was the first publication of the Sierra College Press, the decision among our little organizing group was to expand on that and to do something unique, because we did some research and found out that no community college in the United States had ever attempted to have a full academic press with books and journals and lectures and conferences and radio and TV. In fact, it had never been tried. And so we decided to make that effort. And to that end, I did some additional research, and I found 11 university presses or publication groups that I really liked. And when I went to them, I wanted to get some advice or some suggestions, some tips about what to do. And something curious kind of happened. Every one of the 11, believe me, every one of them said the same thing. They all said, this is an admirable goal, but academic presses are hard to put together. They're expensive, and we want to be truthful with you. You don't have a snowball's chance in hell of this ever happening. It's going to fail. And one of the things that's been personally satisfying to me 20 years later is we proved these people wrong.
This is a kanji that's Mihari, and it's eyes that are alert and watching, and the guard is standing with his bow, with the arrow in his bow, but the arrow is pointed down, but he's alertly looking. And that's what Standing Guard means.
We owe everything to the catalyst that Standing Guard provided. It really was the moment when the Sierra College Press came to life, and it's continued to be, to this very moment, tremendous inspiration for everything we do.
It was only a year after we really got fully engaged with this that we had 9/11. But we had kind of a structure, a structure in place that allowed us to then take a look at the same things that were coming up with the way, Iraqis were being, or actually people from that part of the world were suddenly stigmatized because of it. We could use the standing guard as a way of holding the space. So I think it made it, I think we had a much bigger voice in the campus with that kind of understanding and acceptance because the ground had already been tilled and people were already thinking in these, they didn't want to see it again.
You know, you asked what is the relevance of it today. We have a really hard time today, as we all know. Nobody wants to listen to anybody anymore. There's a lot of fear out there. People are afraid of anybody who's different from them, whether the difference is racial or religious or
sexual orientation.
Sexual orientation, a political opinion. People are afraid of it, and they're afraid. You know, we hear, "Oh, I don't want my kids to be taught in school about the African American experience because they'll feel bad about themselves," and that's part of American history. I don't think any of our students left the classroom feeling bad about themselves. To the contrary, I think they left feeling pretty proud that they had filled in a piece of long missing history, not just of Placer County and our college, but of America. Yeah. And that was something. That's the relevance today. I think we could take lessons from it.
Standing guard is that razor-sharp lesson. It's a necessity of protecting the constitutional right for all Americans in all times. And I think standing guard taught us that you don't have to know where you're going to know that what you're doing is right. And we knew standing guard was right. And we also know that standing guard continues to play a role in who we are in our community today. What we need to do is let it.
If nothing else, we have learned that nothing is impossible and that we have a wide open future.
It's not that we stood guard, it is that this is still needed. Standing guard goes on and on.
My name is Alicia and I'm standing for LGBTQ+ rights and inclusivity.
My name is Spencer and I stand for protecting our oceans from plastics and pollution.
My name is Olivia and I'm standing for the decolonization of higher education.
My name is Ramos and I stand for integrating the rich heritage of mankind's cultural traditions as part of public education studies.
My name is Liberty and I'm standing for destigmatizing and providing equitable care for mental health.
My name is Alec and I stand for everybody's right to vote.
Sierra College Press, standing for the Sierra Nevada region, social and environmental justice, culture, history, science, diversity, students, community. What are you standing for?
Standing guard!
It just came together really well. I feel really proud about that. Cut!